You are live. You have to use this. Maybe you don't. Here's one.
Calling order the council meeting of July 22nd, 2026. Please call the roll.
Mr. Schmidt?
Here.
Ms. Swords? Here. Mr. Moden?
Here.
Ms. Godin? Here. Mr. Lemay? Mr. Gentili?
Here.
Colonel Rose?
Here. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our second July summer meeting. Glad everyone could be here. Who is here? Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first issue will be inviting any audience comments. Cheers.
Stuck on them.
Any audience comments? Not seeing any, we'll move on. I want to, before we move on, welcome Lieutenant Colbert here with us tonight, and also our newest member of the Finance Department, Jessica Mandera, who is here. Welcome, Jessica. Glad you can make it and see how the sausage is made. We'll hear from any committees and department heads at this time. Any committees to report?
Well, the finance committee, we only just met. We reviewed the May finance numbers. Everything looks very good through May. We understand the challenges with having to prepare the new budget, get it approved. So we're looking forward to having the next report compared to the new budget. And we also had a report out from, I attended a call, it's a final report from the state audit, and once again, thanks to Peter and his team, Pike got high marks. We had a very good audit report, no material issues, and we're looking very good.
Thanks. Any other committees?
Just a one question about planning. Here on page 9, under the capital expenditures, the shaker laterals, the budget was 165, but we spent over $1.9 million. Is there something askew on the budget there?
Page 9, I'm showing the cash investments. Is that you're talking about finance?
No, maybe it's page 8 then. Page 8.
Isn't the shaker lateral, isn't that the project that you had to roll forward the balance, and that's what's going to get corrected? The budget's going to get corrected when he finishes the entering the new budget, and we get the reports against the new budget.
Yeah, okay, that just looked good. So. Thank you.
Any other committees to report? Any department heads? Yes, sir.
I'm sure council's aware that we had a pretty horrific fatal car accident over the weekend on Fairmount Boulevard. And I just wanted to let you guys know how proud we were of the officers' response to that. We had 2 officers respond, Sergeant Eric Kruger and Patrolman Joe Popov. And while there was obviously, like I said, a loss of life, Sergeant Kruger did apply 2 tourniquets to there was another female involved. She had a pretty severe leg injury. He applied 2 tourniquets to her leg, and we were told that saved her life. She still obviously is pretty severely injured, but I think he did a fantastic job of his acting swiftly and courageously under pressure. So I want to bring that to you.
And I want to add to Lieutenant's commendation of our officers. Their response was, I think using adjectives like amazing and extraordinary, are very appropriate. With, both Officer Popov and Sergeant Kruger were extraordinary. I've watched the tapes so far as their calm demeanor, their control of the situation. Ultimately, we were joined, and I want to thank the City of Beechwood Fire Department who came and assisted after our own EMS unit had evacuated this injured woman to the hospital. And they assisted with more very important work at the scene. So thank you to Beechwood, our well-established partner in responding to these matters. The lieutenant called out the great effort of the two officers, but it bears repeating that Sergeant Kruger, his response was absolutely extraordinary. The rapidity with which he arrived and evaluated what had to be done in order to save this woman's life. It's really a tribute to him personally, but also to the training that we have our officers engage in, so that when this hopefully once in a lifetime event for him occurred, he was prepared to immediately swing into action. And before our squad could even arrive there, which is a quick response from our fire garage, Eric had already saved this woman's life effectively. And it's just, I'm so proud of the guys in our department, and everyone should be that proud, because this is everything we can ever hope for in response from a police officer in the situation. So again, our congratulations to the men involved, to the leadership that helps train and get them there. So thank you again. Any other departments?
I said, was it a one-car accident or two?
There were actually 3 cars involved. I know it's basically there was a car that was disabled with a flat tire. And they called roadside assistance. That gentleman showed up, and he was in the process of trying to get the tire out of the rear of the car.
Oh.
And then the other car came along. And,
Okay, thank you. I hadn't heard that.
Anything more? Okay. We'll move on then to approval of the council minutes of June 17th and June 24th. First, we'll take up June 17th. Can we have a motion, please, for the approval of those minutes?
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any, roll call, please.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Swords?
Yes.
Mr. Modi?
Yes.
Ms. Godek?
Yes.
Mr. Gentili?
Yes.
Earl Rice?
Um,
Oh, thank you.
Next, a motion, please, for the adoption of the minutes of June 24th.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any, roll call, please.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Swords?
Yes.
Mr. Modi?
Yes.
Ms. Godek?
Yes.
Mr. Gentili?
Yes.
Earl Rice?
Okay. We were able to open some bids last Friday. Don, you want to take us through the first item before we have a motion for its adoption?
Yeah, this is the section of trail it starts really here on the north side of the circle at Shaker, goes up Brainerd, runs diagonally, goes up to basically the intersection of North Woodland and Fairmount. That is, we had 4 bidders. Low bids were below our estimate by about over $100,000. And it's a reputable company. The Burke company's done bigger projects like this all the time. And they happen to be the low bidder on the next project too. And talked to them about being able to run both projects simultaneously, and they have no trouble doing recommendation is that we go with the company in this first project.
Yeah, this is a very well-regarded contracting company known to many in the region, and I support everything that Don has said about the work in this country.
I'm sorry, just for clarification, so it's starting here, going up Brainerd, and then up to that weird intersection.
Kerrsdale,
Okay,
just past that to the Brainerd North Fairmount intersection.
okay,
And it also fixes the Kerrsdale
Yeah.
intersection at Belgrade.
great, thank you.
What do you mean fixes? It eliminates the Belgrade coming on to Fairmont. So Belgrade, they're gonna put in more curb and basically, and shut off Belgrade, and Belgrade will turn Kerrsdale. You'll make a left on Kerrsdale, and that'll be the only way you can get out of both of those neighborhoods. So it creates a three-way intersection, moves the stop signs up, so people aren't kind of trying to figure their way through that intersection anymore.
Right now, you can get onto Belgrade from Brainerd, right?
Yep. You cannot, you'll have to turn on Kerrsdale, and then you make a right.
Yeah, you'll still be able to access it at both locations, but you
Right.
have to make one extra turn.
It will create a much safer environment for
Yeah,
the
this
public and for pedestrians.
it's a big win, doing it at the same time as the sidewalks.
Good design, Don.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, the Brainerd, are we taking it all the way to Cedar?
This bid package does not do that piece. We're gonna release another package of construction here next month in August for Brainerd going north from Fairmont.
Okay, I guess I did recall that we had broken it up. My apologies.
Is there a
Well,
reason to bring it up?
There's some design challenges on the north side that we're still trying to get settled. I think we're close to getting those done, but we wanted to get this package, both of these packages out on the street in bids so they can get started. And then we'll follow up with the other packages.
So then the timeline, this should be done this fall,
Yeah.
later in the fall.
I think just draw lines on that. No?
It's a little more complicated.
Okay. Any more questions about it? Okay, can we have a motion for the award of the Brainerd Trail extension?
Wait, I have a question. The trail will be all on one side for this one?
Yeah, for this one, it's all basically on either the east side, essentially, southeast or east side.
Okay, I've got Colonel Rice with the motion, and I need a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Sword? Yes. Mr. Modi?
Yes.
Ms. Godek? Yes. Mr. Tim?
Yes.
Colonel Rice?
Yes.
That's wonderful, thank you. Next, we look for a motion to award the Fairmount Trail expansion and to authorize the expenditure of the funds. Don, you want to describe this?
We'll start where this trail leaves off at the intersection of Brainerd and Fairmount by North Woodland Road. This runs all the way across, ties into Lander Circle, and it continues on to Butternut, which is the last subdivision on Fairmount on the east end of Fairmount, near Sound. Our estimate for this was 1.2. We got a 968 is in there, 230,000-ish below the estimate, which is great. Again, it's the same company that I recommended for the first package. The second low bidder is $20,000 more than them, so it's a good sign that they both have pretty tight bids and pretty healthy competitive process. So again, I talked to them about being able to work on both projects at the same time. They have the manpower to do it, and they would love to do both at the same time.
No, this one will be crisscrossing, right?
For the most part, it will be on the north side of the road, but I do run it on the south side and then I cross by Windy Hill and bring it across to the north side. And that's to avoid some significant tree and grading issues. And also, I think it just is a good spot to cross anyway, because Windy Hill potentially will be a crosswalk situation.
So Windy Hill going west to Brainerd will be on Sunset.
Yes, that's correct.
In the median, we'll provide a safe haven, a pause for pedestrians.
Right, it's nice to have that, take advantage of the meetings and that process.
Okay. Anything else? Roll call.
Need a motion.
Yeah.
Oh, we did have a motion?
I'll move.
No, the
A
last
motion,
one.
please.
Second.
All right.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Swords? Yes. Mr. Moody?
Yes.
Ms. Snowden? Yes. Mr. Gentile?
Yes.
Earl Weis?
Yes.
Don, is there a ETA on when they're going to initiate this construction?
We did processing the contracts and they said this, you know, they will be starting probably by mid-August.
So early fall, they're completely.
That's the hope.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to a first reading. Last meeting, council authorized a motion for a ordinance to be prepared. I'm going to turn it over at this time to our vice mayor, since it affects the roles that I engage in, so I think it's more appropriate for the vice mayor to conduct this conversation.
Okay. At the last meeting, we authorized the law director to write ordinance 2026-24. An ordinance amending the compensation of the director of public safety in the city of Pepper Pike and directing the payment of back pay and declaring an emergency. This will be the first reading. So what I would like to do here is, everybody has seen the original and also you have the amended. Talking with the law director and a few other people, we looked at, actually took Alyssa's suggestion of getting away from benchmarking and going to the median pay for, or median salary of a resident of Pepper Pike so that we can use that more as a benchmark for a number of reasons, which we can discuss after we make a motion to amend. What I'm going to do is ask for a motion to go to the amended ordinance. This is the first reading, so if you vote yes tonight, you're not voting to put this into play because we need 3 readings unless we suspend, and we're not going to try and suspend tonight because I want to have a great discussion on this and figure out our way ahead. So I'll make a motion that we amend the ordinances is sent out by the law director and Sheila to the one that takes the salary to 130, so that we can actually open up discussion, and we will not be voting on this tonight for implementation. You will be voting to basically put it on the table and open discussion, because we need 3 readings, and this will be the first reading tonight.
Where did the 130 come from? Because the per capita is 120.
So, well, some of us looked up per capita and saw 130. So
No, well, so you came up with, the 130 is median. So I guess that's a whole other debate.
Median
Where
per
did that
capita
come
is
from?
120.
130.
Two different statistics, right?
Yeah, 2 different statistics. So per capita is more like an average. Per median is
Is median published somewhere?
the census data.
What year, though? You have to make sure you're using the same year.
But that's a topic of discussion. So
Yeah.
we can
And
we
really,
can adopt the amendment and then we can still discuss what the salary
because if we
should be.
the discussions for the ordinances, we're completely changing how we're setting policy on deciding pay for the mayor and safety director. Going from benchmarking against other cities, trying to find similar sized cities, to benchmarking against median income for Pepper Pike residents. So we're just using a Pepper Pike number internal to the city and we can discuss what it is, 120, 130, but I'd like to get this opened up so that we can have these discussions.
This is fine. Here are my 2 cents. I think in the hierarchy of questions less decisions, as I think about this, we're gonna ask the question, do we want to attract people who are mid-career to the mayor role, right? That's really the question.
Yeah.
The answer to that could be, well, I think conceptually, I would agree that's a good thing to do, to want.
Yeah.
But, hold on, take me out of the equation for a second. What I would then process is, okay, what are all the variables that would attract such a person? One is obviously compensation. Two is, what does the role entail? What are the key job responsibilities? How much time out of a given work week would that take? And probably those are the big two, I would think. I can't think of the third off the top of my head. But back to one, which is was this language, I don't think we know what that number is. So in my head, I think it's premature to put 130 when we don't actually know. Should it be higher even?
So that we can have that discussion, but I would like to, I made a motion. That way, if we get 4 votes, we can actually discuss this and we can fix it, we can do whatever we want. But basically, it's to amend what we vote on. We're voting to amend the original one we asked Steve to draft to vote, to go with the amended one that he sent out as well.
Do we normally do this?
There's no set procedure as to when you take a motion. We have done it before, taken a motion to amend before you suspend the rules. The suspension of the rules has to happen before a motion to adopt.
We're not going to adopt tonight, so.
And my understanding of the 130 is it's sort of rounded up from an inflation adjusted number. I was given that number, I think, by.
I took it, frankly, AI helped me to find, as I said, the median Pepper Pike salary for the census data.
Hey, so before we continue, I want to read the ordinance. We all have a copy of the ordinance. I'm going to read the ordinance so that the folks in the audience understand what we're talking about, and so that folks out in the video land understand what we're talking about. I'll start off. Whereas the council pursuant to Article 6, salaries and bonds, shall fix the salary or compensation of each officer, employee, and member of any board or commission of the municipality, and whereas it has been brought to the council's attention that the compensation of the city's director of public safety has not been adjusted since 2019, and whereas no other employee of the city has gone without a cost of living adjustment over the same period, and whereas council has learned that the median salary of a Pepper Pike resident is $130,000, and where it is the intention of the council to provide fair and appropriate compensation for all positions, and whereas this council finds and determines that in order to make the mayor and director of public safety's compensation competitive and attract qualified professionals to seek and hold these offices, it is appropriate to pay the positions in a manner comparable to the median salary of a Pepper Pike resident today, and whereas Article 6 of the Charter restricts council from adjusting the compensation of the mayor during an unexpired term, and council finds that adjusting the compensation of the director of public safety, a distinct office held concurrently by the same individual, is both within the council's authority under this article, an established past practice, and necessary to prevent an unreasonable and unintended compensation gap from persisting for the director of public safety. And whereas the current combined annual compensation of the offices of mayor and director of public safety is $82,500, representing a shortfall of $47,500 from the target compensation identified above. And whereas council intends to increase the compensation for the director of public safety for the years 2026 and 27, then enact legislation in 2027 to change the composition of the city's administrative department to eliminate the position of director of public safety and merge the authority and compensation of the director of public safety into the office of mayor effective January 1, 2028. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the city of Pepper Pike, county of state of Ohio, section 1, that effective January 1, 2026 through December 31st, 2027, the annual salary of the director of public safety shall be $75,000 per year. Section 2, that the payment of back pay to the Director of Public Safety for 2026 is authorized and directed. Section 3, that any ordinance or part of any ordinance that conflicts with this ordinance is repealed to the extent of a conflict. And Section 4, that this ordinance shall take effect at the earliest period allowed by law. I wanted to read that so everybody kind of understands what we're talking about on the policy discussion, and it's a two-phase thing, as we've discussed, to fix it now and then hopefully eliminate the Director of Public Safety position and actually pay the mayor proper compensation.
And I want to point out, reading the caption, it said there's a declaration of emergency. This ordinance does not, in fact, the agenda is incorrect on that number, so next time it shows up, let's have that part.
Yes.
Thanks.
I just want to say I like thinking of it in terms of population of Pepper Pike versus trying to cobble together some representative other communities and trying to compensate for differences in all the different variables that we'd be looking at in those communities. Alyssa, to your point of, you're like, well, I think it's 120. I'm just doing a little bit more looking, and the 120 is per capita, but the median earnings for full-time year-round workers is 145 to 150. And I think the difference is, I assume, from, people not working who are still included in that median per capita income, right? Like that's gonna sort of drag down the average. So from, just sort of thinking about that, the right number to me is maybe somewhere in the middle, but, to your point, Sandeep, I think a lot of this is gonna just, it's a little bit just kind of going with your gut, like kind of what feels like the right number, because you can, how are we to quantify, what an extra 10,000 or what if we take off 10 grand, like how to differentiate between, is it like 120, is it 140, like how are you thinking about what the right number to land at is? I think you can like look at some of the statistics that we can pull for our city and kind of go from there, but I think a lot of it's just gonna be,
My preference would be to hire an independent third party to do the study and have them educate us on best practices.
Study of what? Is my comment or
Mayoral
question.
compensation.
Study of what?
Mayor compensation. Just like we do with all the service departments. Right? I'm not saying we use Melissa into that, in that degree. But I think the problem is each of us would have our own opinion of what the number should be, right? So I want to take it out of our house and have a third party.
Except it's our job to do it.
It's our job to execute it, right? And make a final decision, yes.
So really this is, so you're not agreeing with the policy of compensating to the median income. You're going with something else comparing to other cities.
I would say,
Because that's the discussion, is either, we talked about other cities, so we have a lot of data, and there, it's all over the place, right? It's a big shotgun. Beechwood is 180, and then you go to Highland Heights, it's like 42, because the guy works as public, the service director at Bayfield Heights. We're all over the map, and I don't know how you really we try, and I just think, when Alyssa brought this up, I'm like, you know what, that's actually brilliant, because I think it's actually trying to target a better audience of people. If you keep it at 82 or 100, you're gonna get people that can afford to do it. And whereas if you go to 130, 140, 150, whatever it is, I'm thinking of a 40-something-year-old person that's got a really good job. Maybe they make $160 or $170. They go, all right, it's 130 or 140. I can actually afford to serve my city and be able to pay my mortgage and be able to keep living here and doing those things. So that's where I'm looking at it is, and if we do it for 26 and 27, we've shown all of the citizens that might think of running for mayor on the next term, look, we have set the table so that the mayor is, if we believe, properly compensated as the chief executive of the city. That's kind of my point on all this.
I follow your points. I mean, they make a lot of sense. I'll just add or and that, right? There's several goals I think we're trying to solve with one piece of language. So for example, right? What would it take for someone who's in their 40s or 50s or 30s, for example, to want to give up their career, right? It's going to have to come down to what this pay is and where they are in their career, what their individual passion is towards serving the city.
You're right, it's a
Wide variety of areas.
variety of stuff.
So I
don't think a consultant will be able to fill that in though.
No, they wouldn't have all the answers. What I'm saying is if we had a consultant do an analysis and say, okay, Pepper Pike should be at X, right? I don't know what that number is. I know we had
Based
those
on what?
other spreadsheets.
That's not
Based on the way they do analyses. I don't know
But
what
what? We've tried, we talked about
we
budget, number of employees, number of residents, square mile, we have all that stuff in there and it's still been all over the place. That's why I come back to, if we use Alyssa's model of going to a median income or whatever it is, median or per capita.
I think we just have to pick and have it stay with that and maybe even revisit on the same census cadence. Like I want it to be abundantly clear to anyone where that number comes from.
I'm totally
I
with
have
you.
an
So-
idea where you came up with your 120, you talked about it. Are you referring to the 22 census? Is that where you're
It's
getting
the
that number from?
2020 to 2024 census per capita.
The 22 census?
2020 to 2024.
The last census was done in 2020.
So for your amount
Yeah.
of
Data,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
data.
Yeah.
collected
Some of
by
these
Census
things.
Bureau, yeah.
I want to make one point, Bill, which I think is, I don't care how this comes out. I think that Sandy has a great idea that we should have a professional evaluate this because they can evaluate the position and then the proper salary for it. But to think that a guy that's 40 years old has a career making $170, let's say, is going to want to run for a 4-year job and he has to be reelected might be a little bit of a stretch. I mean, he has to be reelected to keep that job. So unless he can go back to his old career.
When you had a 50-something-year-old guy who ran for the job,
Well, they're talking about a different angle. So
We're talking about just open the aperture so that it makes it more attractive.
I just think that's an issue. And you also.
I'm not sure.
have
Tony, I'm not sure what your point is, so.
The point is you're looking for somebody who would be willing to give up his career where he's making $170. I don't know what he's an executive at a company, whatever he is, and he's taking a shot that he can become the mayor at 20, 30, whatever it is, and then he has to be reelected to keep that in that career.
So
So
you're
there's no
suggesting
guarantee that he's going to be
suggesting
reelected,
that would never happen.
he or she.
You're suggesting that would never happen.
No, I'm just saying that that's a big ask.
It is a
But it's
big
not for
ask,
us to ask.
but it is a big ask, but what we're trying to do is open the pool. We're trying to open the pool so that we might potentially attract somebody like that. You're right, it's a big ask, but we'll never get there if we don't have a carrot that opens the candidate pool more than it is.
I'm not worried about the candidate pool at all. Like, I think there's too many factors on why somebody would run. Like, I just don't know if that's a reasonable way to look at this, as much as it is like, if we use something like the per capita, that's like a standard fixed thing for our community
I
that we
totally
generally
agree.
know will
And
remain.
we're not gonna determine, there's 15 factors that make somebody 40 or 30 would decide they wanna run. And we're trying to fix one of them to help more people make that decision.
I just think it's less about who's gonna sit in the seat in the future,
Right,
and more
totally.
about compensating it for the work that's done.
Yes, absolutely.
My problem is, I think we're just assuming this is the right number at this juncture today.
So,
And I don't like that assumption without doing some research.
So we all, I mean, the census data is pretty darn good. So here's what I'd like to do is I'll make a motion that we adopt it as amended so that we continue discussion and so we can have a second reading. And then I'm gonna, if we pass that, Sandeep, I'm gonna actually make another motion on whether we hire an outside consultant to do what you would like to do, okay?
Can I ask how we would find a person who does that?
I Googled this 2 nights ago, and there's 4 or 5 names that came up.
Are we not?
Did it say like ballpark cost?
Like how much does that cost,
It
right?
said 5 to 15K, depending on how complex it is. Now, take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
I wouldn't use the word adopt in your motion.
Okay.
There's some confusion there because that.
We're not
adopts there. So it's a
adopting it
motion
tonight.
to amend the ordinance so that
And continue discussion.
as amended is the,
For first reading.
So what's
How
the
can we amend something that isn't really an ordinance yet?
it is,
It is, it's got to,
it's drafted and then
it's a draft ordinance.
there's a separate
Okay, so
document.
we're amending the draft.
Well, no, it's introduced. This is on for first reading.
Okay.
It's introduced. This
The
is
one
an
I
ordinance. This numbered ordinance is this ordinance. So it's a motion to amend this ordinance.
So I second Bob's motion to amend.
Ordinance number 2026-24.
The difference between this motion and the one motion last week is the dollar amount, correct?
Well, the emphasis too, the one last week was emphasizing a certain dollar amount, and I think this one has more explanation as to our objectives in setting the dollar amount. And
You mean the justification for the dollar amount?
the justification,
Changing it from.
the justification for making a change at all.
Right, because we used 100,000 as kind of a shot in the dark from all the different cities we looked at, 2 sets of data, and we were all over the map. So that's where we kind of went, okay, 100,000 was based on about inflation from 2019. The amended is totally based on Alyssa's suggestion of moving to median income or per capita, whatever we want. We can always change all this, but that's why I want to get this amended passed. It's not adopted, so that we can continue the discussion. And then we'll entertain it. We'll talk about your suggestion, Sandeep. We'll see if we have the votes to get that done.
Why not do the motion, let's say we have votes, but to hire somebody first?
Because that's not what we've just done. We've already got a first and a second to play the amended, so we'll do a roll call. Then we'll go to that.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ms. Swartz?
Yes.
Mr. Bodie?
No.
Ms. Godek?
yes.
Mr. Gentile?
No.
Colonel Rice?
Yes. Okay, it passed. Now, Sandeep, if you go ahead, it's your dog, so I'll let you make the motion and then we'll see where we go.
So this would be a motion to draft language to hire independent company to study mayor pay for Pike. Is that how we would
Who is it?
describe it? The actual name of the company? We'd have to have that first.
Yeah, if you're gonna make a motion to authorize the engagement of somebody, we just hired Perk to do these projects, you'd need to have a name.
The problem is, the council can't enter into a contract,
Right.
so it's a little difficult to do that. Let's just,
Well,
You can-
you'd mentioned you've done some research. I would recommend that you talk with the acting mayor and develop a name between now and the next council meeting.
I'm okay with that.
That sounds fine.
Couldn't the concept of hiring a professional to do that be something we could do tonight?
I mean, yeah, but it doesn't mean anything. I mean, you can't actually go out and hire
So
somebody.
can't we have the administration do an RFP if it passes?
I mean, yeah, well, you could take a motion to authorize the acting mayor to go out for, get an RFP out for a consultant,
All
yes.
right, let's do. I'd like to put this to bed, to be up or down tonight, so that we keep moving. Did you hear?
Who addressed the RFP language?
That would be the acting mayor.
Yeah, I do it with the help of our finance guy and the lawyer. I mean, I'm not gonna do it. That's what we pay these guys for, but I give them direction.
Okay. Let me just get this out there first, okay? As a public statement, I do believe the mayoral deserves an increase. I am concerned about the process behind it, that we are doing it with diligence. That's why I'm advocating for what Mr. Rice is saying, and not just jumping to the wall. I just wanted to say that out loud.
Yeah, totally got you.
So I will make that motion to do an RFP, hire a third-party company to study target Pike mayor compensation.
We have a second. Okay, we do not, no second, so it fails. All right, we've done the first reading, and we can continue discussing since we approved. We have plenty of time if we want to keep discussing, we can do that. Any other points that people want to add? I like the ordinance the way it's written. I like that at the last paragraph, we're making our intent known that we all think that public safety, safety director position should go away, and we should properly compensate just the mayor. And we have to do that. We can't do that right now. It'll be the next year prior to the next election. So it's kind of, this gets us the first step on really cleaning things up. And then in this probably March, April, we will write the new ordinance to do that, to take effect on January 1st. We have to do it 30 days prior to when people apply, which is the first week in August or so. So we have to have it done by the first week of July. So this would go to our, if we pass this to get rid of the safety director and really clean it up like I think all of us agree that we should do, to get rid of that workaround, that would be something we would start tackling probably in April or May. Okay?
I just have two quick comments on
Yes,
this.
ma'am.
One, I would like to see in here specifically called out, like, when we determine that number, like, which part of the census is specifically referenced. Like, I would like that to be pretty much 1-to-1 for transparency's sake.
What's,
Like, if we were gonna go off the per capita, that like
Okay.
the amount, it says, like, this
you need to
is,
tighten up the language.
yes, so that way we know exactly where it comes from.
So
And
what we
then-
can do is before the next meeting is we can get both numbers per capita and median and decide which one we want to
You're
throw in there.
talking about the same thing. It's a median per capita. And,
We have two numbers though.
well, but
One's
but
per
that's because you're
capita,
talking
one's
about maybe
at
two
people
different
actually
censuses.
Okay.
So in the census, there would be a defined term, it'd be right there in black and white, if you choose what it is. That's all,
And
that's
so
all
all
it
I'm
was to
suggesting
say.
is
So
when
let's
we
do-
land on that, I
let's
want
do-
it
let's-
clearly called out.
We'll bring both of them to the next meeting and then have the discussion on which one we want to use. How's that?
And then my other comment is on the idea of how we clean this up down the road. Like, I would like to know who specifically is going to bring that back up and when, because like, I'm not saying anybody would intentionally like forget
I'll
about
do
it,
it.
but right, we're gonna be busy.
I'll
and-
do it as the vice mayor because it's directly deals with the mayor compensation. You call me out next spring if I don't do it.
Is there any reason we have to wait till next spring to do that?
Doesn't this do it for the future too?
No, I mean,
You cannot amend the mayor's pay.
I mean, can we pass?
I mean, I suppose you could for the 2028
Right,
term,
that's what I'm
but
saying,
it's,
can we pass something like concurrent with this to go into effect with the new term?
you could.
I mean, I think we should do that.
so the other pieces we talked about, how do we fix the mayor's pay
Yeah.
yearly, starting in 2028, so that we don't fall back into this dilemma.
So.
And I brought the COLA thing up. Sandeep did not like the COLA thing, but tying it to social security COLA, starting in 2029.
But worst case scenario, those could all each be a different ordinance, right?
It could be, yeah.
We could have, this ordinance now, we could have the 2027 ordinance, and we could have, what are we gonna do on an ongoing basis ordinance?
It could be 3 ordinances, or we
Yeah.
could roll it into one. I think for
So that's why
simplicity-
I said worst
Worst
case
case.
scenario, we could have 3, or, because we
What I-
could settle
so what-
one and keep discussing
What I
another.
would suggest, and I'll go whichever way the group wants to go, is we do it kind of what we have now and keep it in this box. And then April, May, we do it to eliminate the position of safety director, to clean up mayor's salary only. And we tackle the future out years with a COLA suggestion or an annual raise equal to that of the finance director, or whatever language we want to use, however you want to set it up. But I think the best thing is to clean this up right now, and then next spring we'll clean it up before the election. Does anybody have any problem with that? I think it would be easier maybe to get it all done at once, but I don't know that we're gonna be there, especially with how we do it in the out years. I think we all need time to kind of, but that's, we good?
Yes,
Okay.
does that require a vote?
It does.
No, you've had first reading of 2026-24.
Yep, and so I think unless there's anything else, we'll call this one closed, and I'll turn the meeting back over to the mayor.
Thank you. We've had since we were together, that was just last week. Other than, this week was so overwhelmed by the tragic fatality. I don't really have much else to say about that. I do want to just touch base on 2 things. I want to return first to a happy thing, which is again welcoming Jessica and Vera to the employment of the city of Pike. We do this with police officers. We bring them forward to the council often to give some brief background as to who they are. And I think it's very appropriate for this important one that we bring Jessica forward, just so that everyone, including the public, is aware. Jessica comes to us with a really over 15 years of experience managing accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll, budgeting, financial reporting, employee benefits administration, and HR operations. She has served as an HR administrator, a bookkeeper, an accounting clerk, an assistant to the CFO. This is all, and she has not worked in the public sector yet. So she's been an accounting administrator, and she's been a senior account executive at a bank. So Jessica comes really with a very significant professional background. And in the 2 weeks that she's been with us, she's already demonstrated that it is really simply learning our systems and not learning the tasks, which is the same comment I made in the finance committee, which is a very important benefit that we have by having Jessica join us. And she has proven herself adept, I think, already by quickly mastering our various software programs and learning the way Peter likes to have things done. So I guess Peter was embarrassing. So I welcome you again. I have some sad news to share. Last week, former councilman Dr. Gene Seaton passed away. And Gene was, if you knew Gene, she was really an extraordinary person. She was always kind, always professional, extraordinarily bright. And she served this city for many years as a council person. And was an important factor in the development of bringing us forward during her tenure to the place we are today. She served on a wonderful city council back in her day with people such as Stanley Edelstein and Alan Krulak and others. And she will be missed. We extend our condolences to her family. Her daughter, of course, is, you may not know, but I guess it's not an of course. Her daughter is the pastor at the Western Reserve Church up in the Circle, and Jean will be missed by all who knew and loved her. So, one more name of someone who will be missed. And with that, I turn it to council for any comments you may have.
I have one. I'm gonna turn it to the fire chief because we missed him on department heads and talk about his shiny, brand new ambulance that I took a look at the other day, guys.
Did you get a chance to?
Yeah, I went shopping, the guy showed me around, so turn it over to you.
Yeah, we received our new ambulance. It'll be, as soon as we get the radios installed and a few items tweaked, put that in service. That's about it.
This thing is more akin to it almost feels like a rolling operating.
It's big.
It is a beast.
It's a
This is
big,
a
Believe it or not,
piece of
it's only
equipment.
2 inches longer than our current one.
sits a lot higher and a little bit wider.
A little bit, it is a little bit higher.
The volume in the workspace inside the truck, it just seems like guys can really move around and attend to.
It's really an impressive looking vehicle.
Maybe next council meeting, I'll bring it over and everybody can
That would be great.
take a walk through.
Take a ride.
Take a ride.
I'm
Well,
gonna
let's
ride, I'm
free
gonna ride in the
blood
front,
pressures.
not in the back, all right?
We'll let you ride on the new stretcher too.
Oh, cool.
Thank you. Good fellow. Anything else?
I did think of something, maybe this is almost more as a resident than a council person, but, you know, we had a big rain the other night, and I got my umbrella out, and I walked around my property, and I'm not exactly sure when it happened, but Bolingbrook does not flood anymore. So all the people who over many years have worked on the storm sewer issues on Bolingbrook, I found no flooding during our last torrential downpour.
Thanks,
So
Al.
thank you.
Thank you for pointing it out. It's good to hear it pointed out. Thank you.
Question, is there any follow-up when you reach out to the power company for the flickering? You're being right.
Yes, I can follow up with that. I spoke again yesterday. Several times I've communicated with our energy representatives, and yesterday I spoke again with them. There was a major tree trimming operation that was conducted in Moreland Hills, the major circuit that is related to the Pepper Pike outages, originates down in Moreland Hills. And they did a lot of tree trimming. When I asked, "This is in Pepper Pike?" He says, "No, it's in Moreland, but it's the same circuit." And they don't know if it's going to totally resolve things or not, but they think it played a major factor. Some of the greenery that they got cut away.
So the trimming will help.
The trimming will definitely help. They were very enthusiastic that was going to help. They previously had spliced a new piece section into one of the overheads that, for whatever reason, seemed to be shorting. So they replaced that, and I think that helped. Yeah, there can be an accumulation of a few different factors that create a problem. The matter remains referred to their engineering team that's still analyzing the circuit. They're looking at a lot of data apparently, including voltage reports that some of our residents have this home equipment that measures voltage fluctuations. So those residents have shared it with me. I've shared it with CEI, First Energy, and they're feeding that into their own data that they see as to when these outages occur, or sometimes they're just really almost instantaneous flickers, but it's enough to drop someone's power, then it comes back on momentarily later. So they have been working on it, and asked for an ETA as to when the analysis would be completed, which is what I always ask, and he doesn't know. He says their engineer is working on something, and he says he's encouraged it to be at the top of their list for work through this. And
As
we'll
a resident
continue.
of that area, it has not been as bad. Like, it has been
Has it
a
improved?
noticeable improvement.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
That's nice to hear. How long have you observed that it seems better?
Well, let's see, when was the first time you talked to them? Like, you did that initial outreach?
Just a few weeks ago.
I wanna say it was probably like a week or two after that, but it's just like gradually
That would have been the
improved.
splice.
Okay,
The first thing they did was the splice.
yeah, so, I mean, it's been better. Like, I mean, it was
I
multiple
think the
times a day.
splice was on Pine Tree.
That
I
would make
think
sense.
that's where. Okay. That's good to know. All right, anyone else?
Got us some information. I don't know if any part of Pepper Pike has AT&T fiber, you know,
Yes,
it does.
I have it in my house.
So maybe this question is irrelevant. I was gonna say, is there anything we can do as a city to attract more neighborhoods with fiber that does not include any money to AT&T?
I feel like they just like went around in our neighborhood, left, flyers in the mailbox, and all of a sudden everyone started signing up for it. There were like huge incentives.
But that
You
means
signed up.
AT&T picked your neighborhood.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can get them to pick more neighborhoods of all of ours.
So you don't think you have it in your brand new?
Your developer didn't put it
The
in.
developer didn't think it had. So, yeah, because
Where I live, it
I
doesn't have it, yeah.
because I do think that on their own volition, they came and did our street.
There's a lot of Pepper Pike that's
Right.
fiber. I'm not actually certain. There are obviously some streets that don't have it.
If I could,
I
real
don't,
quick,
yeah,
they continue to push the build out. They're not gonna, they're building like crazy kind of everywhere. They have a big chunk right now that's gonna go Brainerd, a little bit of South Woodland and the Sterling Lakes development. To build that out, they're just gonna keep working at it. It's a lot of money and resources. Some of it they were able to do on poles. That's fairly inexpensive, but the underground costs a little bit more to get to the direction of boring to the so they're building it out, and it's density, probably customers per mile more than anything else. And Pepper Pike is not as dense as some other areas.
I know they want to do it because they will not install copper anymore. And they tear out copper at every opportunity. So their aspiration is certainly to totally fiber out the area. We'll move on to any audience comments. Yes.
Grace Barber, 33,000 Shaker Boulevard. I'm concerned with the compensation aspect and looking forward to who you are attracting without defining the actual position. My understanding originally the position was part-time, so do we need a full-time person? If you're comparing it per capita for certain jobs in the median in the city, what about those jobs? What's the definition of their jobs? Are they full-time? Currently, our mayor doesn't have a rec department. We don't have all these other positions that would may warrant the higher salary. So even senior services. A lot of that is through Orange. So I think you really need to look at what does Pepper Pike really need and have a job description, and then go from there rather than just doing to who you want to track. It should be what the position requires. Thank you.
One correction or comment I would make to your comment, please,
Yes.
is this mayor works full-time.
Okay.
I've worked full-time for the outset.
And my
I
one
have
comment,
maintained another role too, obviously,
right,
but that has simply led to me working till 10 and 12 at night many nights.
okay.
But it's definitely a full-time job.
Okay, then that needs to be defined and the residents should know what's entailed in that. I mean, if you compare your full-time position to Beechwood, they have a pool, they have camps, they have other recreational things. It's a much bigger business area, more diverse. Pepper Pike isn't growing. I mean, what are your business opportunities? So I think you can't compare apples to apples. I agree with doing that survey and getting something closer, to compare to, but I looked at a survey from 2024 of mayors, and a mayor in Aurora is making $110,000. They have that huge Geauga Lake project included. We're not gonna get there. We don't have those needs in the city. I mean, yes, we do have needs, but I don't think it is at $130,000 salary range.
And let me just reflect on that for a moment, because I don't want there to be a mistake as to what roles the mayor serves. In many ways, the mayor of a city like ours, where we are leanly staffed, has more responsibilities and more tasks that fall upon the mayor than in a city like Beechwood or Aurora. Beechwood has a rec director. Beechwood has a communications director. Beechwood has an economic director. In a city like Pepper Pike, all of those tasks fall on a single person. So there's actually more responsibility and more, I'm not saying they're all performing wonderfully, because we do not employ $160,000 a year, person to do economic development or whatever the task is. So we, push it all onto a single person to perform all of these tasks. So
Which is,
you're correct, it's not apples and oranges.
Yeah,
In some
and I
ways,
don't want to get in a
there's
back and
more
forth,
responsibility
Which is-
on the mayor in this city.
but
but I
that
do
could
want
be
to add that
by
this is why,
design.
I advocate that it's hard to make comparisons, to do a comparison of salary to the other
But just
cities,
to throw
because we can find so many
130,000, just
variations
a median
in the responsibilities.
Well, there's no outline responsibilities. Again, where is that information? Where is the job details? Where's the responsibility listing? For public safety, for mayor, if you want to combine them, there should be something tangible to look at. And I'm not gonna get in a back and forth, because, that just goes
You're
nowhere.
right, we should
So-
go.
so-
Are there any other audience comments? Not seeing any, we will take a motion to adjourn to executive session. And for the purpose of discussing the acquisition or disposition of municipal property. Roll call.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
Ms. Swords, Mr. Moe,
Yes.
Ms. Bodett, yes, Mr. Gentile, Colonel Rice.
Yes.
We stand adjourned. There will not be further public business conducted following the executive session, so everyone should feel free to
Just because it's